Welcome everybody to me doing something to do with the online on Forza Horizon 5, which I know is a rarity, and as this title of this video suggests, I've been doing a lot of B-class online street racing. It's become, definitely my favourite class of racing to do, and street racing in particular is really rather fun. It's quite chaotic at times, but has produced some of my all-time favourite races. So, I have a variety of vehicles that I use at the top end of B-class. The one that I've had the most success with is the Jaguar XES. As you can see, it's got really good handling and braking. The acceleration and launch are pretty good. It's now all-wheel drive instead of its rear-wheel drive original drivetrain. And with 385 horsepower, it's pretty quick in a straight line as well. The Ford Mustang SVO has also been pretty good. Not got the greatest acceleration, and the launch is pretty poor as well. But once you build up the speed and coming around corners and stuff, it's able to hold that speed quite well, as you can see by the even better handling and braking on this over the Jaguar. Then the MG X Power SVR has been pretty good, despite that being quite close to the top end of B class. Its handling and braking are pretty good. Only thing that really drags it down is that automatic gearbox, which is not the best in terms of being spaced apart in its gears. Yet to try out the MG3 yet, but the handling and braking is pretty good, and the acceleration ain't half bad either. Had an engine swap, so it's got way more power than it had originally. And surprisingly, the Oldsmobile Tornado has been pretty fun, despite the stats not looking that great. Once it does get up to speed, kind of like the SVO, it's able to handle the speed reasonably well. It's still front-wheel drive as well, which is always a surprise. And with 735 horsepower and 787 pounds-feet of torque, it's a pretty formidable car once it gets going in a straight line, as you can see by its speed. So, we're going to do a few races, and we're going to try out the Jaguar. So, I'll see you when we get started. Right, so here we are. I do this by custom racing. It's a lot easier to get into B class that way rather than just doing open racing, as that can be any class really. And don't know how many races these guys are through, because it's basically like a seasonal championship. 3 races, points based on which position you get in, and an overall amount of points per overall for the overall 3 races. So like I said, these can be quite chaotic, these races, considering there's still AI traffic on the roads. But it can be fun as well. So there's usually a nice variety of cars. I've rarely come across a race or a series of races where everyone's in the same vehicle or the same kind of vehicle. And usually I see at least 2 or 3 new cars that I've not raced before, so it's always nice. That's Jaguar. It's not got the quickest of acceleration, but due to me now giving it an 8-speed gearbox, it is at least rapid fire through its gears. Meaning it's pretty much always in the torque band and its horsepower band, which is always nice. Subaru right next to us. I'm by no means the best driver, I'll admit that right now, but I'm far from the worst, as observed by so many that I've come across on this game. Annoying horns are also common. I've come across some cheaters, but nowhere near as often as, say on Forza Motorsport games. Seems to be a lot more reined in on this game. By cheaters I mean people that, force you out of the checkpoint area when you're side by side. That's generally the only issue that I've come across. AI traffic can play havoc with your driving line, as we have seen in previous seasonal championships. This doesn't have all that much guts when it comes to going uphill either, unfortunately. Doesn't look like the Subaru does either. Kind of a stalemate, really. And we get off and win. Like I said, the Jaguar has easily been the most consistent car that I've used on these races. I got 4 wins in a row at one point, which is pretty good for me. So, yeah. We'll see when we see the overall points, whether or not we're in the middle of a tournament or championship, or at the beginning of one. If we were at the top with 20 points, and we will be at the start of one. If not, then we'll probably change it to another car. Yeah. So probably the last race in that championship. So yeah, we'll switch out to another car. The Jaguar is a great car, but it's not my favourite car to drive, even though it is, like I said, the more consistent one. You do get a nice lot of experience and, you know, money out of this. You get wheel spins quite often for levelling up, or overall, or in terms of the Horizon Open levels. So it's all good. Let's see, are we going into another race? Nope, we're starting off with a new lot. So yeah, we're going to pick up a new car now. So yeah, like I said, the Jaguar is the most consistent out of the bunch, but I really like the Mustang at times. But we're going to try out the MG. It's a car that I've built recently, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but as you can see by the handling and the braking, it's pretty good. The acceleration is decent. Top speed ain't all that great. It's about 149, 150, which might not work out, but who knows. So let's see. You never know until you try, and I love experimenting with vehicles on these races. Some work out, some do not, but that's part of the fun, is seeing what is going to happen. So yeah, we'll see you when we get started in the race. Right, here we are. Wetland Charge. The races are nicely varied up as well. It's not often that I realise what I've been on a certain, you know, course before, and all of these are point to point, being street races. There's no circuits here, which I kind of prefer in some ways. Right, let's see if this MG is any good. It's gonna have the acceleration and the launch, but not sure about much else, to be honest. Not much guts up the hills. And to be honest, in some of these races you don't really need a great handling car, especially if it's these kind of, like, you know, long, smooth corners. Don't really require any braking. A bit of oversteer there, that I'm not expecting. And again, it's quite a short wheelbase car, and there's quite a lot of power going through those wheels. The thing I really do like about this game is that when people try and do that kind of thing, where charge at you, using you as their brakes, it turns you into a ghost, and you're not able to hit anyone, which was always a problem on the Forza Motorsport games. So I'm glad that this game has changed that, and hopefully it will become a thing in the next Forza Motorsport game. That was the one big thing that turned me off from playing online on Forza, was the fact that people would just crash into you at any given opportunity. Granted, it only works at high speed crashes, anything lower speed or, you know, side on, it can still hit you, but it does remove a great deal of the annoyance, quite frankly. Unfortunately, we don't seem to have got into the best lobby because that Monaro has either crashed or obviously did try and crash into me and failed. These races are obviously a lot better when there's a lot more people involved. I mean, he's still moving, so I don't think he's going to quit out, but yeah, this is more like a time trial than anything. So I can't really judge this car at the moment in terms of whether it's any good or not. To drive, it does feel good. There is some oversteer, but nowhere near as much as you might expect from a car that has way more power than it had originally, more than twice the power, and now has power going through those rear wheels. Bit of an easy win there. Hopefully the next race is a bit more full. Right, let's see if this race is a bit more full. Anybody else? Or is it just me and the Monaro again? Me and the Monaro, god damn it. Oh well. This is a bit more of a twisty track, so but there is some quite long straights and corners that look like they won't need much braking, so might be a good mix here. If the Monaro driver doesn't try and kill me, that is. City driving though is going to be pretty easy. Yeah, the traffic can be quite mad in these kind of areas. Yeah, I do not have much straight line speed, so Monaro might catch us up quite quick in the second half of this. For now, the corners are my friends. Oh dear, can't see those transits. Really have to keep an eye out on AI traffic. It's easy to get lazy and not think about them. Well, may as well have some sliding fun with this while we've got such a big lead. Initially forgot about the brakes on this car when upgrading it. They lapsed my mind, so when it came to me testing it, I was like, why the hell is this not stopping all that well? And then I realised it stopped for, and the brakes might well have been good because it wasn't a particularly quick car, but now you shoved in more than twice the horsepower and, you know, able to do 0 to 100 quicker than you were ever able to do 0 to 60, then yeah. Brakes do need to be changed in that regard. They're not racing brakes though, because the PR wouldn't allow it, but they are at least sport brakes. They're damn sight better than they were standard. Yeah, despite this being quite a speed orientated part of the race, that Monaro has not been able to make up the ground. This might not be the quickest in a straight line, but it's hardly slow. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully we'll get a bit more competition in the next race. So yeah, I'll see you when we get there. So we've got more competition though this time, so at least, yeah, this should be a little bit more fun and a bit more of a challenge for the MG. Although there's a Subaru in here with, like, it looks stock, so that might be an easy one to go over, but everyone else might well be quite formidable. It does annoy me about this game that you can't, there's not like a 1, 2, 3 go. It's just a go, and you don't get the chance to rev or launch properly. Does it brake a bit better there, Subaru? Oh no, oh, God damn it, I hate it when that happens. Traffic is shoved into your, driving line. A lot of blind corners to look out around as well. Very easy to accidentally hit a wall as well, but thankfully being a straight race there's not many of those to hit. And wall bouncing and stuff like that is restricted because you can have your speed and acceleration reduced for a moment. Gain on the Alpine, come on. He's going to accelerate ahead of us on this bit. We don't have all that much guts. Got less power than that car had stock. But we're keeping up somewhat. He is gaining a little bit on me. Understeer, no. I've set off a second, but that is pretty good from this MG. Obviously it's not the perfect car to use on this in this class or on these kind of races, but to be honest, for something that only had about 102, 105 horsepower, something like that in stock form, and it's going way quicker than it was ever meant to originally, overall impressed by it. So yeah, that's just a bit of online racing. Not the longest of videos I know, and a couple of races that were a little bit boring, but yeah, I really do enjoy racing on this game. Far more than I expected it to, and it's a bit of a shame that it's taken me this long to get into it. But as you saw from the cars that I was able to pick from, there's plenty of variety of vehicles to choose from. Like I said, you also get wheel spins, cars, money, whatever else. So yeah, it's well worth getting into, especially since there's quite a nice variety of lower class cars to choose from that you can effectively upgrade into B class. So yeah, but obviously there are other classes. B class and above is supported on this game. I would like C class to have been supported because I think that might have been even more fun, especially given I'm really into my more rubbish cars. But yeah, really solid performance class to choose from, and yeah, as you can see, a nice variety. The Napier Railton, for instance, is hilarious to drive because it's pretty torquey and pretty quick in some regards, but it does weigh a ton and doesn't have the best handling. Not tried out the Maserati yet. or the Mustang Boss 302. The Ford GT70, despite having reasonable stats, isn't quite as good as I was hoping it would be. It's probably a better A-class car, and despite my love of the Espada, it's unfortunately not that good in B-class. So yeah, but still, I love this game, and yeah, I really am enjoying online racing, surprisingly. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.